Thanks to a very kind, loyal, and who shall remain anonymous viewer for filming this, you'll be watching the debut of one of the greatest zoos in Europe, the Royal Burgers Zoo, located in Arnhem, located in the Netherlands. This 45-hectare park got its start in 1913 and is wildly popular amongst both the Dutch and Germans, attracting over 1 million visitors annually. Burgers features several what they call eco-displays, like the African safari, a colossal indoor rainforest, indoor desert, arguably the greatest zoo-based aquarium in the world. But we'll start off easy in the Mangrove attraction. Before we begin, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you either pressed that subscribe button, checked out my latest merch, or used that money for good and donate it to the Colossal Sustainable Future Initiative, who conserves the wildlife that's represented in this video. Then, I would like all of you to comment below, what is the first thing you would do to your local zoo if all of a sudden you became director? If you head to the top right of the zoo, before you even get to the entrance, there's a sign telling you that you're about to take a stroll through a slice of the Caribbeans. The Mangrove of Arnhem opened in 2017. While many Caribbean-themed habitats are based on its chain of islands in the open ocean, this is based on the mangrove forests and beaches of the nation of Belize, located on the coast of Central America. The temperature is maintained at 24 to 26 degrees Celsius, humidity between 70 to 90%. It really helps to retain that heat when everything is naturally lit by the sun. Or maybe, you know, it's not that hot. I wouldn't know. I didn't film this. The mangrove sits right under a dome that's 60 meters in diameter. It goes 5.5 meters at its shortest and 16 meters in the middle. For all my fellow Americans out there, that's like just above 50 feet. It looks like your typical glass, but the mangrove was the first zoo exhibit ever to use what's called ETFE cushions, a lightweight alternative that's 1% the weight of glass and is way better for basking reptiles and really sun-loving plants. Mangrove has both a fresh side and a salty side. The main bridge puts you right on top of the freshwater basin where a certain swimming cow lives. That'll come later. Alright, it's enough stalling to pad the runtime. The second exhibit is a saltwater basin filled with 150 square meters of carefully selected clay. This was designed with scheduled low and high tides. During busy hours, there's actually less water, and that way it's way easier to see the fiddler crabs. Scientists orchestrated their name because when the crab eats with its tiny claw, the motion kinda looks like they're playing air violin with their oversized club that only the males have, and it comes in handy in combat. Also, the lady crabs love it. The more talented a male is at waving it, and the bigger the claw, the better the mate. So, size matters in the fiddler crab world, only cause the bigger the claw, the bigger the burrow, which apparently makes for better incubation for the females to lay their fertilized eggs in. One of the things that this place is known for is breeding fiddler crabs, something that isn't easy to do because it requires a lot of help from the keepers. Since it's fairly complicated, there's a link to the entire process in the comments below. The crabs actually share this mudflat with a fully aquatic creature that if you became that creature, your world would literally be turned upside down. Chances are you've seen a jelly floating aimlessly like a plastic bag against a blue background. Upside down jellies rest with their flat bell on the sea floor. Algae lives inside the jelly's tissue. So by being upside down, they expose the algae to the sun, allowing it to photosynthesize, and in turn, the algae produces food for the jelly. A crab that plays air violin and doesn't know it, a jelly that gives a whole new meaning to bottoms up. Now how about we go visit a relative of the elephant that spends its entire lives in water. Mangrove's centerpiece is the manatee tank. Now before all of this came to be, not only did the sea cows live in a natural looking spring in the bush indoor rainforest exhibit, they were mixed with capybaras. It was considered a decent setup, but Mangrove's Manatee Creek offers its residents more space with 1 million liters, and now you can watch them from multiple spots above the surface and underwater. They might not be mixed with capybaras, but there's at least 10 kinds of fish, which is still cool, I guess. West Indian manatees have 2 subspecies, Florida or Caribbean, the one that we're most familiar with, and Antillean. These are Caribbean, but if we're being true to the exhibit's theme, I'd say these are representing the Antillean manatees, since not only do they live closer to Belize, that coast has the densest population of Antillean manatees in that region. Now, some of Burger's manatees were born in other European parks, and some were born right here, something that almost never happens in the States, since like 99% of manatees in US facilities are rescues. Nearly the entire second half of the mangrove is all forest. Over 100 trees, shrubs, and vines, and in just 7 years, you can really see how much it's matured and shows how an ecosystem is never finished. Not sure if it happened, but I read that poison dart frogs were supposed to be free roaming around here to help out with pest control. You still might find lizards in the trees, 8 kinds of birds, dozens of butterflies. But if you don't want to see their boring, colorful, full-grown stage, this cabin display has a bunch of them in their more beautiful, enclosed pupil stages. And that is where this short but sweet eco-dome will literally come full circle. Its combination of animals is unique, but I love the idea of this mangrove because it was inspired by a real, very specific place. Since 1989, the Burger Zoo has helped fund the protection of a nature preserve in Belize. So the Mangrove exhibit is an ambassador for the diverse life that lives in this preserve and is used to educate the public about its animals and their threats. You can either contribute by just visiting the zoo itself, or like I said at the beginning of the video, donate directly to the CSFI to help out. So that'll do it for today. As usual, please stay tuned, stay wild, and thank you all for watching Zoo Tours.